Hey there, Uniwarriors, EnnuiGoblin here once again, and bringing to you another video in my Tactical Rounds series. And I just saw a situation here that I thought was fun, and I've been waiting for something like this to come up that I wanted to talk to you about it. It's about how to defend against cheese openings. And if you don't know what I mean by that, when I say cheese opening, I mean cheese openings are openings in which, instead of using your starting free units to make a natural base capture on the first round, cheese openings take that free unit and have them do an alternative movement rather than make the capture right away. And there's usually only two reasons you might want to do that. Sometimes players might want to use the free units to go for a tactical position or zone of control before their enemy gets there, and they're willing to sacrifice the first round base capture to get it. Or the other time that you might see that is when an opponent thinks he has a shot at stealing one of your bases or his opponent's bases, and denying you your own base capture, and then moving another unit later to get his natural. And that's the kind of actually the kind of cheese we're seeing here on this map. And I want to just show you the nice thing is that with cheese openings, a good balanced maps will usually give you a lot of options on how to defend against it. So as long as you're able to spot it happening, you typically have a lot of ways to defend against it. But you have to make sure you recognize that it's happening, and you have to make sure you make the right decisions in response to it. So I thought that'd be really fun to talk about that kind of opening right here. So how do you spot when you see a cheese opening? Pretty simple. My opponent, this is round one on my match, and my opponent is going first. Keep in mind, cheese openings almost always occur from the first player. It almost never makes sense to do a cheese opening if you are player two, because it's even easier to defend against cheese when you're the first round player. But that's not the case here. He happens to be the first round player, so he's going for cheese. And how do I know? Well, this was his free move. This was his free unit this turn. Here's his natural base. But instead of taking his free unit from this mountain tile and making the capture right away, he moved his unit up ahead a space and declined the base capture. That should always raise a red flag. If your opponent on round one, and sometimes even on round two, if they don't make the natural base capture right away, then you can expect them to be going for some sort of cheesy opening in which they're trying to get an immediate early gain by sacrificing their early base capture. And what he's trying to do is he wants to try and deny me this base capture and make the capture for himself so that he gets the two center bases and can end this game really quickly. And so when you see something like that, what you have to do is you have to explore around and see, does he have other units that he's trying to work a combo with? And let's take a look. Bingo. Look at that Marauder. And this Marauder, if you take a look, has, let me move him over here, has direct access to my base right here. So he can go and take two shots at any underling that tries to capture the space right away. So what he's hoping to do is eliminate my underling right away and make the base capture, or at the very least, use his Marauder and Marine to eliminate my underling, get me at 100 credit deficit, and threaten a base capture with this unit. He'll probably go for the Marine, hit it once with a 5-shot, go with the Marauder, get the 5-shot, get the Marine to clean up the rest of the underling with the gang up, and then take his Marauder and make a base cap, and then the turn 3, go for the capture. And I gotta make sure I'm careful about denying him that possibility. And so, there's a couple of options, but I think the very best one is, the worst thing you can do right now is make the capture. If you make the capture, I'm going to lose this unit and he's going to get the base cap. That's what the cheese is for. But I think the best response is to set a buried underling trap. So instead of moving my underling or even leaving him here, because if let's say I decide I just want to keep him on this space and defend against this tile, great. But now, instead of going for the capture, he can use his Marine to hit me for a 4-shot, then bring his Marauder around and get a 5-shot around the back and maybe a 6-shot and eliminate him, and I'll still be 100 credits down. Or at the very best, maybe this underling gets away with a 1 health or a 2 health and is still alive, but now he can't do anything or contribute any damage. But if I go for the buried trap, now if he tries to bring his Marauder to any one of these positions, I will get huge damage on it. If he tries to bring his Marine up here for the capture, I can get like an 8-shot against it. And if he tries to bring his Marauder up for the cap, I can get like a 5 or a 6 shot against it. So anything that he tries to bring up onto this base now is going to be severely weakened because of this trap. And he can't get any units on top of this mountain. The Marauder can't get onto the mountain, and the Marine can't reach. So this is an unblockable trap. And now this trap is going to render this base capture pretty useless. I don't see him getting anything on here, especially since I'm on turn 2. This map happens to have quite a high amount of start credits, so with 700 credits I should have enough to ably defend against this base capture threat. And there's a cup. Picking the units with the 700 is the second part of making sure that not only do I deny it this round, but I deny the cheese a second round and make sure by round 3 I want to have my base, because he's putting the pressure on me. So he's gonna, if he's denying me this base capture, he'll go for the capture here. Then I'm in a position where I have to resurface him, then go for the capture, and I'm on round 3 with this base capture. I don't mind being a turn behind him as long as I deny him from taking it away from me. But I don't want to be pressured into having to fight for this base and wait around till turn 6, turn 7 before I finally get my capture. And if he gets all 3 of his bases and I'm still fighting, if he gets all 4 of his bases and I'm still struggling for my 4th, he's gonna get what are the credits? That's every turn that he denies me the base with his own naturals conquered, I'm losing 100 credit deficit for him. And that will snowball really quickly, especially against Crawl v Staffs, in which Crawls are considered to be a little bit less favored because the Marines are so strong, and the Swarmers and the Underlings just don't have the firepower to return against the Marines. But that's a conversation for another story. So what I want to do is, I'm wondering if I should put an Underling on this tile. And does it have the question is, I don't think that Underling has enough to get onto the base right away. I don't think you can. The Underling has 11 mobility, so no, it won't, because it's 6 for the mountain, and oh no, he would be able to. It's 4 for the base. So if I put the Underling here, he should be able to make the base capture. Question is, can he'll bring the Marauder and weaken it, but the Marauder will take a 4-shot hit to it. I like this. I like this. So the reason I want the Underling here is so that if he decides to continue to try to make the threat, let's say he foolishly goes up to the space and falls victim to my Underling trap. The problem with this buried Underling trap is now I can't bring this Underling onto this space next turn right away to capture. But if I have a second Underling here, I can make the base capture right away. And now what I need is some firepower to further discourage him from bringing his Marauder up onto this line. And I don't want his Marine around here. I want to push his Marine back and his Marauder back and then take my natural. I want to scare him away with some firepower. And I think the question is, do I want to go Swarmers or do I want to go Garudas? I think I should go Swarmers. I think they're going to be... If I was concerned about him bringing out helicopters, but he clearly doesn't have helicopters because he went Marauder Marine. There's another Marine up on this position, so I know he's not going helicopters anytime soon. If I thought he was going to get a helicopter next turn, then I would go Garuda, but he spent 350 this turn, so he's probably tapped out, which means he wouldn't be able to get a helicopter until at least round 4, and that's if he spends nothing next turn. So with that in mind, I'm going to go for Swarmers, double Swarmers. That leaves me with 100 credits, so that next round I'll be at 400. That means I can get a Garuda if I need it for extra firepower. Let's say I'm wrong about the helicopter, I need a Garuda to scare it away. I can still get it next turn. If I want to go Swarmer and Underling, or let's say like one of these Underlings gets wiped out and I need something to replenish it, I can go for Swarmer Underling and have some extra firepower with an Underling to make sure that the pressure is on this base and I can get the threat. So I really like this opening. I think is the strongest response. And so notice it's a little bit... This was a tricky cheese opening. I think a lower level. I think this would work on a lower level player if a lot of lower level players wouldn't see this and would just go straight for the base and then suddenly fall victim to the cap. And so that's why it's so important to make sure to look for these kinds of red flags on round 1. Alright guys, that's all for now. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is EnnuiGoblin signing off.